Module 5, The Benefits to Change the Use of Drugs and Alcohol. Written by Dr. George Tanis and narrated by Lydia. Greetings, welcome to lifecoachbootcamp.com. Important. Before you study this lesson, please watch this video. Why? Example. If you or your client are in a relationship and the other person displayed an attitude of not being truthful, you need to master and you need to educate your client the following. Confront and level. Assertive communications. As well as I feel good, PST positive self-talk. Make sure to answer the questions at the end and follow the instructions for submission. Most people who abuse prescription drugs start at an early age. They start smoking or they turn into addicts and wish they had never started in the first place. When their life turns upside down and they start on a downward spiral, they realize doing so was a bad idea. They regret not being able to say no to drug use when they were offered in the past. Later, as time progressed and life became more complicated, they found themselves tangled in situations that could have been avoided if only they had not indulged in drugs and alcohol. Eventually, every drug user realizes that doing drugs was a mistake, but the constant urges and cravings keep pushing them further and deeper into this dark world of addiction. Changing for a better life. A drug user might have several reasons why he wants to inject drugs, but there are good reasons to quit and step out of this addiction. There are reasons to become clean and choose a better life. Below are some of the reasons why you should say no to drugs. Better interpersonal relationships. When people start using drugs, it often leads to tarnished relationships. Abusers start hiding from their loved ones or start deceiving them to extract money. A chain of never-ending lies begins, and deception becomes a significant part of their lives. Drugs become the priority and the needs of their family cease to matter. Being free from drugs not only gives people a chance to repair these damaged and broken relationships, but also allows them to form new ones. Improved financial situation. Drug addicts drain money like water. They spend money on drugs constantly, and when their bank balance finally declines to zero, they start asking for money from friends and family, which they never pay back, which pushes them further into financial debt. Being free from drugs gives you better clarity and helps you improve your financial conditions. Enhanced productivity. Drugs and alcohol steal away a person's productivity, leaving them feeling exhausted, anxious, tired, and sick. This sometimes puts important work at risk, causing them to lose their jobs or drop out of school. Choosing to stay away from drugs and alcohol enables a person to improve productivity, improved health and overall well-being. Drugs and health issues go hand in hand. Drugs not only affect mental health, but they also take a toll on physical health. Drug overdoses can cause permanent damage, even death. Making the decision to stay away from drugs and alcohol enables a person to improve their health and take steps toward a healthy life. New goals. When people start using drugs, they can lose their sense of purpose. As their judgment gets clouded, everything else loses importance and stops making sense. As a person progresses down this road, the only thing that matters is staying high, that's all they chase. But when a person says no to drugs, and with time, all the traces of drugs are eliminated from his system, they begin to gain clarity. Their minds become free from urges and cravings, and they are able to set new goals. Freedom. When a person gets into drugs, the high is all he craves. Even when he tries to stop, the constant urges keep pushing him to do drugs. But when a person steps away from this world, he experiences freedom. He feels free from the urges, starts making better decisions, turns his life around for good, and takes control of his life. So many benefits of leaving the world of drugs. So, what steps can you take to become free from drugs and alcohol and lead a quality life? Welcoming the positive change. The road to recovery is not easy, but leaving the world of drugs is not impossible. With the support of loved ones, a strong will, a strong purpose, and proper treatments, a person can break away from the shackles. Below are the stages in which recovery takes place. Pre-contemplation stage. A drug addict may not be able to recognize his toxic patterns and degrading health, but people around him do. The pre-contemplation stage is the very first stage of recovery, where people around an addict or abuser notice changes in physical appearance, overall personality, lack of personal hygiene, and take the initiative to inform them about these toxic changes. Contemplation. This is the second part of the recovery process when a drug abuser starts listening to what people tell him about himself and starts considering changing. As he sees all the pain he is causing, how others are paying for his toxic habits, his degrading health, and irresponsible behavior, he begins contemplating his actions and takes a step forward on the road to recovery. Preparation stage. This is the phase where the addict or abuser commits to himself, for the sake of his well-being and those around him, that he'll never use drugs again. He begins to set short-term and long-term goals to become free from drugs and alcohol. Action stage. This is the phase where an addict, with the help and support of his loved ones, starts enrolling in programs such as Alcoholics Anonymous, going to a rehab center, joining support groups, and seeking medical help. Maintenance stage. This is the phase where an addict applies all the principles that he has learned in his recovery phase to avoid relapsing. Whenever he feels like taking drugs, he asks his family members and friends for help. Having urges and cravings is a part of recovery, and the addict needs to understand that in time these cravings will begin to subside. Do you know anyone who struggles with drugs or alcohol? What motivated them to change and how is their life now? What steps did they take to become free? The essay. Please write an essay, up to 2 pages, about a past experience you or someone you know had when you were addicted to drugs and alcohol, and what steps you took on your road to recovery. Tell us in detail who, what, when, where, why, to whom, the place of what you did, the outcome. And tell us in detail how you could have changed that use from what you learned today, so the outcome would have been better. Internalize this lesson. Make it become a part of you. Share your story in the forums. Our advice is for you to seek help if you are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Tell others around you to point out any time in which you didn't. Have them hold you accountable. Visit the forum and do a confession. What is a confession? A confession is when you've displayed a wrong behavior and were held accountable by one of your family members, peers, or even yourself. Visit the forum and tell us about it. We will give you feedback. Make sure to watch the video about confession for more details. Furthermore, become a member of the forum and give feedback to others. Read the article? Time to introspect. Do you regret experimenting with or using drugs? What steps are you taking to improve your past relationships? Has your financial health improved since quitting drugs? How? What steps did you take to get back on track? Has your health improved after quitting drugs? What changes have you observed? How did you recover from drugs? What steps did you take? There is no way any relationship will survive without having the qualities mentioned above. Make sure to read each article carefully at least 3 times. Print your workbook and answer all questions. Once you have completed this entire journey, you will be issued a life coach certificate, so long as you've been a member of the forums. Also, follow the instruction for sharing your story in our forums, as well as participating in our forums, especially our unique confessions forum, so you may gain practice, knowledge, experience, and expertise. I am thankful that you have given me this opportunity to share all of this with you. May God bless you and bring prosperity and peace into your life. Respectfully yours, George Tannis, Ph.D.